Hello, friends. I don't think we've ever did one of these without me being late and or having massive technical difficulties or something right at the beginning. So, ta-da, here we are. Um, just as I hit the go live button, we were joined by Raja, who has curled up and decided that this is her spot for the day. Which is not gonna happen, Raji, sorry. But we have friends. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Yeah, Raja butt fluff right there. Raja. Her little noggin's right here. Go. No? Not follow that hand. You're gonna have to go play somewhere else, buddy. Because we have things to do. We're gonna do things today. And you're not invited. Sorry. Anywho, today we're gonna be working in my 2026 planner. This is my 2025 reading journal, but hello. She is now in my lap. Okay. Look. In my lap. Exactly where I wanted her to be. Raja. You're killing me, Smalls. You're gonna have to go play somewhere else, honey. You know you want to cuddle, but you cannot cuddle. No, it's not cuddle time. She's just got her arms around me like, I will cuddle and you will like it. All right. To the floor with you, Raja Cuddler. Can I have my shirt back, please? Thank you. Anywho, so we have last year's journal, so I can, reveal this year's journal. It's a big shock, total surprise and mystery. Jacob went away for Thanksgiving, so Gremlin has been glued to my hip, and let me say, as the backup human, I'm not used to this level of affection. I am used to this level of affection. Raja sleeps on my head, so I'm used to it. Brinkety and journaling sounds great. Yeah, unfortunately, I have to move, and I can't do that if I'm holding her, which is what she wants. She wants to be cradled like a baby and rocked, which I stupidly do on occasion, which is why she expects it. But it's fine. It's totally fine. This was my first year with a reading journal, and I've been thinking of what changes I want to make for next year. Yeah, we can do a quick flip through while we're sitting here, as we are known to do. How did I get closer and yet also farther away and not in the right place? I don't know. Listen, I had this in an order. Okay, there was an order. It was all here. Things made sense. I realized I moved it, but I didn't move it that far. Okay. Anywho, this year's will be a lot like last year's. What are we going to refer to this year's? 2026 will be a lot like 2025. But I have some changes that I am making as far as positions of things, and there are a couple things I want to do differently. I want to do a DNF graveyard instead of just a list, which I made stickers for. But my printer and I are currently having a fight, and I know you can't tell in this shot that I'm showing you, but it is extremely lined. So the printer got jammed at one point. This was part of why I took a nap earlier, because I was just technologically exhausted. The printer and I got into a fight. It had a paper jam, and then I was trying to print stuff, and you can see a line through everything that I was trying to print. So there's something in there that's stopping it from printing accurately. And I need to figure out what that is so that I can print more things. You can't tell, well, you can tell a little bit in this on this side, in the very black part, but it's very lined. And this one I think wouldn't annoy me so much, but this one is really bad and really annoys me. So I'm not putting those in the planner, but I did make like cool things to put on my DNF graveyard, but that's neither here nor there. This is going to change completely this year. So last year, as you can see, a bunch of the boxes are empty, and then a bunch of them I didn't end up using. Like I didn't actually do the things I was going to do, but I actually did the things. I just didn't like the way of tracking it in here, and it just kind of became a mess. So this is like all of my different book clubs, and then like yearly challenges for like Buzzwordathon and Year of Goober, Breeze Cover Hunt, things like that. Um, and I am going to go to individual pages for these this year. Um, I think that's going to be my preferred method. Last night I was sleeping on my stomach and Gremlin noodled her way underneath my neck. And when I moved her, she looked at me like, how dare I do that? Yeah. Raja curls in like right next to my face. And that's, if I move her, she gets very angry. So Marilyn and Gremlin have that in common. Hello, Stacy. Welcome in. Likely a fair trade. I mean, could be. Wish I had a printer for stickers, pictures, but it's not in the budget for now. My current stash of washi tape will have to do. Listen, I for years just used washi tape and stickers and things that I was getting. I got a Black Friday sale on a mini printer, which if it wasn't clear on the other side of the room, oh no, it is over here. Getting to it, complicated, but it is here. I got this Canon Ivy mini printer on sale probably 4 or 5 years ago. And in the app on this on your phone, you can separate it. You can make it into like a collage feature. So I would use make it into 4 pictures and print book covers that way. So all I used it for was book covers. I didn't use it for like any other kind of stickers or anything, but this was really helpful. Or a fun way to add book covers in that wasn't super expensive. But if you're not catching them on sale, they are like $100. So they are expensive if you're not catching it on sale. But this was like a great entry level into not needing like a giant printer, a cutting machine, super expensive ink. So these were great. I don't hardly ever use this anymore. Yes, I love it. It does work really well. I don't use it a lot because of the bulk that it adds to the pages. And also because I have the ability to just use my big printer and my cutting machine now. I actually use it for actual photos now. Imagine that. But yeah, so especially if you live in a small place and don't have a lot of space for things, excuse me, it is nice to have. But then yeah, I started buying at some point I started buying stickers from Planning with Kay. I love Kay. She's fantastic. She has like right now there is a 50% off sale for Black Friday. I think it's still going today. And you can get like let me see if I have a whole set back here somewhere in the back. I probably do, but those ones. I don't know. It's like a 3-page set where you get like these and these, and then there's usually a 3rd page, which would be, I don't know. Is this decoration page? Oh, it is that decoration page. It would be this one. So you get like these 3 pages, and it's like $4, you know? It's very affordable. The biggest issue with Kay is that she gets a lot of orders and it's just her and her husband running the thing themselves. And so sometimes it can take a long time to get the stickers. Um, I think the longest I've waited is like 6 weeks, which if you're just ordering to order to have a good time is not a problem. But if you're like wanting something, you have to be patient. It's not like, you're ordering it from Amazon and it's going to be there the next day. But I love to support Kay. She has great designs. We will actually be using some of Kay's designs today. However, what we're also using today is this book washi from Archer and Olive. And as you can tell, these colors are not, my brain wanted to say copacetic. And that is not a word. Um, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. Someone will tell me. But they don't go together. They clash. But I did go into Canva and I just played around with the colors and recolored them a little bit. Oh no! So that they match the set that we're using a little better for headers. So I did that. But you can also, from Kay, buy her stickers digitally, which is what I've been doing. I buy them digitally. I print them myself. That's why I bought a printer. It's cheaper that way. Plus I can have them right now. She also has extra stuff if you are a patron, which I am. I'm on the $30 a month tier. I know you guys are all super fascinated by this. $30 a month tier where I get them printed and sent to me, but also digital files and extra files of extra things. So there's that. Anyway, back to this, what we were looking at. It's going to be a tangent kind of day. Copacetic, I think, is what I was going for. Copacetic, I don't even know what that was supposed to mean, but yes, compatible, copacetic, coordinating, all of those are applicable to that situation. I did end up having to add in a second ARC page for this year. Imagine that. But this is what I was talking about. Like, I'm going to do a single page for the individual challenges. So that maybe I'll actually use them. Who knows? I'm going to be doing something different with TBR Takedown this year. I've not really been doing TBR Takedown this year because, I've been filling out the form, but I haven't been doing YouTube. So, haven't really needed to do the thing. But I have a plan for this setup, and it will be more like my bingo board from hell setup from last year. I will not be doing bingo board from hell this year. This is from When at Literary Diversions. It's fantastic. I don't think they've posted this year's yet. But I'll be doing something different. I made my own because I wanted to, and I can. And I think that is it in here. I am making some changes as far as, like, this was me on our writing retreat making notes in the back of my Bujo. Nujo notes for the new journal. I plan to do all of my yearly stuff and then all of my monthly calendars / TBRs. And then I'm going to have like a section of like 30-ish pages empty for readathons. And then all of my reviews will be at the end. So what I've been doing is having, let's go to a month with some readathons as well. Let's find an actual example. Nope. Nobody. Nope. This will work. Okay. So like in July, I did my monthly stuff here. And then I started on the readathon stuff. So different readathons that I was doing. And then there was a lot of readathons in July. And then started doing my reviews for the month. So instead of doing monthly pages, readathon pages, review pages, I'm going to put all of the monthly pages together and then all of the readathon pages together and then all of the review pages together. Mostly because a lot of times I end up with empty pages because I'm trying to leave space for the next month. And like I'll end up with like this where there's nothing here. And then October, there was so much in October. Like this whole space is empty. October was a very readathon heavy month. This whole page is empty because this is where that readathon ended, but I had set up enough space in case I needed it. And then reviews, I never even got to this book in the month, but I had, like, it was the last book I was planning to read. That was when I got my ear infection. And I can't hear out of my ear. And so audiobooks are a struggle as of current. But then I left a blank page and then I started November. It's not that I'm running out of pages. I am kind of close to running out of pages if I had read a couple more books. And I was in a reading slump this year. So if I am not reading something in 2026, which also, thank you, Tennille, I am going to need those pages. So I'm trying to plan the best that I can. However, if I leave a bunch of empty pages in between the monthly pages and the review pages for readathons, I use all of the readathon pages, or for the review pages, do I then go back? Listen, I don't think any option is perfect, but I'm going to try this for this year. And if I hate it, I hate it. I also made a setup of where I planned on things being in this year's journal. So I guess we should show you this year's journal. Ta-da, ta-da. We'll be using the Archer and Olive square again, because I love my square, because I can get lots of stuff on it. And it is the, hello? Oh, Raja. Yeah. Can you see that? It's actually got holes in it, scratches. Raja already. Look over here. Yeah, it hasn't even got a sticker in it yet, Raji. That is the life I lead with cats, people. The life I lead with cats. I was like, what happened? Oh, Raja happened. Fantastic. Yes, thank you, Janelle. Readathons. I hope to catch up during time off. Yeah, I think I'm going to just have like I think having a readathon section is going to be helpful, you know. Gave up doing most readathons. They start to stress me out more than they were fun. Yeah, I definitely. So last year, because I was reading slumping, some of the more relaxed readathons, for instance, as I said, I was done with it. Which one am I thinking of at this current moment in time? Realmathon was helpful. Because you're just reading based off of like different prompts. Raji, you can't play right now, honey. So there's just a bunch of different prompts that you have that you can read, and it's whatever. But the one that was really helpful was Escape the Readathon, because there's no actual like there's prompts, but you can read as many books as you want for that prompt. And so like in the planner, I was doing like, I was in the pool room, and double letters in the title has multiple letters in the title. So I just started reading those, and then would go to the next room, and then was making notes for everything I read in that room, and then made notes for everything I did in the next room. And that was an easy one to do, because it wasn't like the ones where you have to, I love the ones where you have to like wait until the prompt drops and you never know when it's going to drop, and you also don't know what the prompt is going to be. Those are a lot of fun, but if you're already stressed out, it's not the time. And so ones where I can just read whatever I want, or I know all the prompts ahead of time, those I can get into. But I also like the competitive nature if I have a good group of people that I'm on a team with. But also sometimes I join the competitive ones and then never join the chat room at all. So it just depends on the day, how I'm feeling, you know. The graphic audio paused the Mercy Thompson audios. That's what my Hoopla had. They're doing the Dresden Files. I said, oh, that sucks. I finished, I'm up to date. I finished Winter Lost this month, like a week ago. But if you look at my daily reading challenge, you can definitely see when Jessica had an ear infection and was not listening to any audiobooks. because he's a giant blank. Like, I was crushing it in September, October. I mean, I read 37 books. Of course, I crushed it. But this month, not doing so great, but it is what it is. Bookshelf cover. Yes, I love, and it is okay. It's actually this washi tape set goes with this cover. It was released at the same time together. So I was smart and I got the washi tape to go with it. And I also have some just like written word scribble washi. This is from Journal Say, and then also some map washi. Do I know if I'm going to use the map washi? I don't, but I have it. So if I want to use it, I can. Yeah. Anywho, I use a lot of other people's ideas. Regina, I promise you. I am really good at just following other people's designs. But I'll take it. I don't like surprise drops of the competitive ones at all. I like to plan ahead and do things on my own. Yeah, I think so. Like, if we go into December, which was the crazy month, I'll find her, I promise. September was also a little crazy, but December was really crazy. Was this December or September? Help a girl out. God, was this September? Okay, sure, September. Start with September because it's crazy also. So I had Weekend at Timmy's, which is my friend Brittany's readathon for her Patreon. And we also had the Bones readathon that month for Brittany's Patreon because we're watching Bones together. And so we're doing a Bones readathon. So I had 2 for Brittany. And then Mystic readathon for Nell. And I didn't actually, I mean, I did the readathon, but I didn't do anything in here really other than just print out the little thing with the prompts on it. There was like an easy mode instead of a hard mode where you just read whatever and did those. I did that. Then I had my own readathon, Summer Scare readathon, where I did my prompts in here and then printed out the little book covers for what I ended up reading. I read 9 books in 9 days, 13 days, however many days we had this year. Then did Readathon Rebellion, wherein there's like a list of prompts and there was a game board. And so you're rolling dice and then you have like different amounts of it. I promise you it makes sense. But I hit like my 4 objectives and then I did all of the prompts that I needed to do for the different things. I did that and I read a lot. And then same in October, there was Halloween Readathon, where it was like 3 days, 72 hours for every weekend in October. I only did 3 weekends of that and then just kind of gave up. I was doing the Bewitched Spellbook Readathon by Erin at Erin Smith on the YouTube. And I did okay on that, which was just like matching prompts. I really wasn't trying to do this one. It was just like if I read a book and it matched it, I went with it. Halloweenathon, which was books and activities and TV shows and movies. We did that. Also did TBR Harvest, which I did the easy mode, which was, or I guess like a scavenger hunt mode, where there was 31 prompts and you hit as many of the prompts as you could in the month. I think I got all of them but 2. Yeah, all but 2. I used multiple covers or one cover covered multiple prompts, but I got all but 2. And then also Fablin, which is like a D&D based readathon, which was fun. And I love it. And I will continue to do. I did not do any readathons in November. I'm not doing any readathons in December. Because your girl is stressed. Actually, I'm not stressed. Which is also good. Night Broken was the last one they produced, and it's the last one on my hope. That is crazy, because that's like 1, 2, 3. There's like 5 more after that. I think. Why they just stopped. So weird. I mean, you can listen to the regular ones. I like the audiobook narrator. I don't like the guy who does Adam. And that was a big struggle for me with Silence Fallen, I think is the one that Adam is in. Um, Mercy is kidnapped in that book, and it is a weird timeline thing because you're getting her point of view and Adam's point of view, and neither of them are linear, and also they don't run together. So, like, her point of view is not linear at all. It jumps back and forth in her timeline. And then Adam's point of view is also not linear, back and forth in a timeline. And then chapter to chapter, they're not in the same timeline either. So, like, you're getting Mercy 3 days in the present, and then Adam 2 days in the past, and then Mercy in the present day, and then Adam 3 days in the future. And it doesn't make any fucking sense. And that book really hurt my head. And I really did not like that one. They have continued to do Adam's point of view since then, and I think there may have been one earlier in the series, but they have continued to do Adam's point of view since then, and it's not nearly as bad when they actually have things in order. So I'm not too stressed about it in the newer ones, but Silence Fallen, I think is what it was. But it was a hot dang mess, girl. Did the amazing readathon this year? The continued structure works better for me than a pile of books in a month. Agreeing to Readathon again this month. Yeah, I think I love Amazing. Bree's one of my friends. I love Bree. I think that the idea of it and the chaos is super, super fun. Um, I get a little stressed out in people asking too many questions. But it's fun. And I have a good time and I enjoy it. So, and Bree puts a lot of work into it, and it's really fun to see like all of her creativeness come out in it. And it's a great time. So, oh, yeah, that's fair. That's 100% fair. I'm sorry that your library doesn't have those. Um, write them a strongly worded letter. Anyway, we're a half hour in. We should like start with this year's book, right? So anywho, yes, we're using this now cat scratched bookshelf planner. They do actually still have some of these available. I don't know if it's in this size, but some of them do exist in this style, but maybe not in this size. So if you like it, just saying. Lots of readathons. I'm trying to pace myself one every 2 or 3 months. Yeah. When I went into this year, I was like, I'm not doing any. And then I ended up doing several of them. So I'm not doing any. Once I got to like the end of the year, though, I was obviously. Is this like helping or hurting? What does it look like with ooh, hello. What does it look like without it? It's dark AF. Okay, back to the light. Let's see. What if we do a different hello. Sure. Just get way brighter and just have this giant thing right there. Sure. We're getting ready to cover it up. We'll do that page first so we can cover it up. As always, I just printed some stickers off of Pinterest. I need something to hold this side up. Normally I have everything linked down below, but I was not prepared for today, so. Yeah, I just found like some that I like that are stickery in cool shapes. I will say, as per usual with this setup, they don't, because I'm not paying for fan art, and that's a me problem. A lot of things are Sarah J. Maas based because that's the fan art that exists for free on the internet. So if you see a lot of Sarah J. Maas stuff, that do be why, because it is what exists. Do I have anything smaller or in a different orientation? I don't believe I do. Because it's very naked at the top, but that's okay because it's got the book in there, and I can always add more stuff later if I want to. And then this side, we do this guy here. I don't write my name in my reading one, because I am a problem. I'm a whole problem. We got this one over here. Hi, Raja. She is now behind me in the chair. Hi, BB. What if instead of this little one, I do a... No! 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 Raja. Honey. Psst, psst, psst. Thank you. Love you. Please go away. That's how I talk to my kid, too. Love you. Do I, though? Do I? I do. I do love her. Anyway, we were joined by a Kate. What printer do I use? I don't know. It's an HP printer. It's a printer, a real printer. I have a whole problem. You know this. So cute, so destructive, ruining all the sticker plans. Right. She does not have thumbs. Now Merlin could help. Merlin has thumbs. She could be helpful. I don't know if you can hear them fighting back there, but okay, let's just do that. And then surely I've got one or two more reading ones in here. I have a bunch for my regular planner already set up too. I have a lot, okay? No one is surprised that I have a lot of anything. Let's do... God forbid women have hobbies. Don't want the Archer and Olive visible, though. And therefore, that. And we will resolve that with something else. Anywho. So we're just gonna play Stickerland for a little bit. Yeah, inkjet sticker sheets. I actually pay for the HP, whatever their printer ink option thing is, where you just pay like $1 something a month, and they send you ink when your printer's like, I'm low on ink. And it's great because it's like $2 a month, and when I run out of ink, it magically reappears. And I also don't, I mean, is it stupid to pay $2 a month when you're not using ink all year long? Sure, but I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, like a decade ago, when those of us who are old used to have printers, and even with just black ink, like, it used to be cheaper to throw out your entire printer and buy a new printer that already had ink in it than to just buy an ink cartridge, which is wild to me. But that was the case for many, many years. You could buy a cheap printer. I mean, if you're just, like I said, printing black and white, like for school purposes, you could buy a cheap printer for like $75 and it would come with ink, and it would be cheaper to buy a new one than it would be to pay $150 for an ink cartridge. Now, granted, the ink cartridge had more ink in it, but if you were like a student who didn't have a bunch of money, happy planner season to all who celebrate. Thank you, Anna. I hope you're having a fantastic, wonderful day. So curious about getting a printer again because they did us all dirty for so long. They really did. They really did do us dirty for a long time. It's not as bad now. I think the printer community was like really fed up with the aspect of it, the throwaway nature of everything, and people were like, you need to get your life together because we're not gonna handle this anymore and deal with this anymore. And so I think they, kind of fixed that aspect of it. But also, don't judge me and my tweezers, okay? I used to hard judge people with tweezers, but it makes life so much easier. I used to be like, what a pretentious a-hole you are. And how dare you think you need tweezers for stickers? But when I tell you that A, it does actually make them get them easier apart, because who's setting up cut files for these and putting them in and having them kiss cut? Not me. But also it is nice to have an extra steady hand. And sometimes when you're using small stickers, you can actually still see what the sticker is. But yeah. Yeah, I have a scanner printer combo machine. I don't use the scanner very often, but my mom does some of the horse stuff that she does, like um registering them and stuff. You have to email paperwork and stuff like that. So it's nice to be able to print out the paperwork that she needs and fill it out and then scan it in and email it to wherever it's going. It's helpful. So I do like that aspect of it. I think I'm going to, because yep, that is all you need to know. I am going to, I think this is the color I want, and the size should be fine. Yeah. Just cover this whole thing. And then that way I don't have to worry about making sure the stickers are in the exact right spots. Everything will be covered and I don't have to worry about it. Is it going to be centered? Perhaps not. Is it going to be fine? Absolutely. There we go. I guess I could do this in the middle then if we're going to do that. Who knows? Yeah, it's not the most fun I've ever had, for sure. And some are easier than others. Some come right apart. Others are like a struggle. But I just deal with it. Because it's either that or make cut files, and cut files are the bane of my existence to do kiss cut stickers. I will do it. I do it sometimes, but it takes like an hour to set everything up in the program and then an hour to get the machine to register the register marks properly. Listen, I saved money by switching my insurance to Geico. I saved money on a sticker cutter by going with Silhouette instead of a Cricut, and I don't know that I would recommend that as a valid life choice for anyone. I think you should just get the Cricut, spend the more money. I think the system is more user-friendly. And there are 900 more tutorials, that being a large part of it. Like, there are tutorials for Silhouette stuff as well, but there's not nearly as many tutorials for Silhouette as there is for Cricut. And so I feel like if I was struggling with Cricut related items, I would have more access to better what's the word I'm looking for? Tutorials to help me with the things. See, now I moved this thing and now my spacing's not right. I've fricked it up, Carl. She's been furked up. That's what you get for moving things and not planning ahead. It's fine. Just stick it right on top of that and no one will ever know except for you and me and the wise men 3. Is that a Bible reference she just made? I think it was. Oh, that one was already in. This is where we usually just hang out and chat and have a good time because you're just watching me play with stickers. So I hope you're having a fantastic time watching me play with stickers. I'm having a great time playing with said stickers. You know what I could do? Cut this one down because it's just got like a giant black border on it. So let's just cut down the border. Duh. Printers and ink are still like that here. So bad for the environment. Yeah. And I think you can still get them like that. But I have found like if you pay a little more for the printer, usually the ink isn't as expensive, which is a weird reverse psychology setup that they have. But you know, I just live here, you know. I just live here, Tennille. I don't know what the world's planning. Get it together, late night book club. Sticker. Ta-ta. I said sometimes you gotta play around a little bit. I will probably find something small later to stick in there so that it's not so egregiously white. This side I don't mind because it's nice and pretty. But, you know, rolling with it. Thanks, Regina. I think that I sound like a dude who has smoked 80 packs of cigarettes in his life. But I appreciate that. Also, everyone needs a cup on their desk for paper trash from stickers. This is my sticker trash dumpster. It lives on my desk. And I just throw all my little sticker scraps in it. And then when it's full, I dump it in the trash can under my desk. Because if I had to reach my hand under my desk every time and pray that I hit the actual trash can when I was throwing away these little tiny scraps of paper, no, never going to happen. But magic mug that sits right here, and I just throw things in it, and then when it's full, I empty it. Best decision I ever made. Okay. So basically, as I said, most of these are just like portrait stuff, like just little things, but Light It Up specifically from Crescent City. This is specifically from Crescent City. It's Bryce and Danica. This is a quote from Crescent City from La Habra. My friends are with me, and I am not afraid. This is the cover of Night Broken from Patricia Briggs in the Mercy Thompson series. This is a quote from the Mercy Thompson series. I thought you were dead, and then stupid as if I'd die without taking you with me. Adam and Mercy, love them. And then Dungeon Crawler Carl and Donut. That is the extent of what I was able to find that was related to books that I read last year and enjoyed. So everything else is just regular stickery fun times. So as always, this first page will be a pocket because it is a pain in the rear that it just doesn't sit right. And then what do you do with this page? So we always flip our books around and do one of these. Na, 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 na. Boop, boop. Okay. Now, as I have mentioned many, many times when doing Plan With Me's, you can, in fact, tear this out because this is going to be the pocket part down here. So this is scrap paper. I can tear this out if I want. However, the more of these you tear out, the looser your binding gets and the more your book struggles to be a not folly a party book. So what I typically do is first I find my re-racer and I re-race where this says cut out. So what I will do is I will just glue this down to this page. And Gina likes my tape roller, so I'm going to use it some more. It's just a glue tape roller. They make them with dots on them as well. A lot of people use like the dotty ones for sticker or for scrapbooking, but for planner stuff, I prefer the rolly method one. Okay, so that's that. We're just gonna boop boop stick that down, so we don't have to worry about ruining the integrity of the planner. This, because this is going to be a pocket, and we're going to want a definition of a delineated line there. I said delineated. We're going to put, is this upside down? It is definitely upside down if you do it that way. Okay. I feel like how left-handers must feel, because I feel like all washi tape is made for left-handers. And so therefore, as a right-hander, I feel how left-handers must feel when they deal with everything else in life. If any of that makes any sense. Okay. So with this, we're going to do that. And then we're just going to do a little fold over so that we know for sure where the break is in the page for our little pocket. And also it gets a little decor on it. As you can see from last year's planner, I usually just use this for like different stickers that I use for marking like days that I finished what I'm reading. I also usually keep my star rating stickers in here as well. That's all I use them for. So, tis what we use that for. And then you just tape the bottom and the side, not the top, because if you tape the top, you're not going to be able to get into your pocket. And then you have a little pocket. Ta-da. It does have a satisfying sound. We do love it. Is it getting worse in here lighting wise, or is it just me? Like, I feel like the lighting has gotten exponentially worse. Cars are made for right-handed people. Imagine trying to operate a car with your non-dominant hand and foot. You know what? You're absolutely correct. Also, Raja. All right. Look, you're just knocking stuff everywhere, Raji. You can't. This is a no Raji play zone. Okay. I'm going to open the windows real quick, so ignore me as you hear me moving around. I'm going to open the windows. I'm going to open curtains. Please don't open the windows. It's 20 degrees outside. Can we also close the door and close out Raja? We can. Can you hear me as I roam around my house? We'll never know. Okay. Forgive me as I had to climb on my bed to open a curtain. Quickly scrub back and the lighting looks the same as before, but it's a smidge dark. I think it's because it's getting darker outside. And so, therefore, dark. Yeah, it does. And it just is like I'm looking at it and it looks dark to me. And so then I'm like, what are you guys getting? Like that to me looks as dark as it was before. And that's on the lowest light setting. Oh, there's an auto button. Let's try that. Walking around for forever for me, whether someone's listening or not. You can read table of contents. Excellent. So that's the next sticker going on. This should theoretically probably say index and not table of contents. But that's not what we got. So we're using what we got. I do not know how I'm going to set this up yet. So literally this is just me putting this sticker in here for now. And then later when I actually figure out how we're going to set this up. Listen. We're not going to struggle this much with a sticker, my dude. Yes, we are, apparently. Ta-da! That page is done. Look at us go. I did print a bunch of these that are blank that I can, in the future, go in and just add clear writing on top of so that the book stays consistent. But these ones I actually typed in everything on Canva. Yeah, they very politely trained the left-handed dominance out of you. Politely. Yeah, that's how we're going with it. Let's see. We all have a rating system on this side. I think I set these ones up to be centered, but they're not going to be centered because of this is my favorite book of the year, Matrix, and I think it's going to be over too far to really lend to that. So we're just going to put her right here at the top on the outside. And then this one will go on the top on the outside, and then I'll just erase the markers that I put in of where center is at later on. Some of these things will actually set up together and some we won't. We're not going to set up my rating system mostly because my rating system was typed on the pages that did not want to print today. So I will at some point go back and handwrite those in, but now is not the time. But we will go ahead and set this guy up. Because we can. And what did I use last year? Story of my life. What did you do last year? Boop, boop. Looking for a journal next year, but it has metallic spray. It's not going to look good with washi tape disrupting the pages. You know what? Honestly, I just kind of roll with it. Whatever I get, you know? It is what it is, which is probably not the way to look at it, but I try to make things match, but if they don't match, I try not to cry in my post toasties about it. Do a lot of things left-handed, which I didn't realize was a thing when it came to working in an ice cream shop. I am left dominant when it comes to a lot of things that require strength, force, hand-eye coordination, that kind of thing, left-handed, but I can't write with my left hand to save my life. That is all my right hand. So, yeah. Tried playing violin, piano at a young age, so left hand isn't difficult. I think mine is because I took piano lessons, played instruments, so I think it just has a mind of its own and it will do whatever I tell it to do except for write properly. And I think if I could get the grip right on the pen, that I would be fine. But I can't. It I feel like a lobster. Had to learn to work things both left and right because when I was a lab manager instructor, most students are right-handed and can't reverse things in their mind. Yeah, fair. Very fair. This is what we're making, a book matrix because reasons. So the idea behind a book matrix is to get my favorite book of 2025, I will take my top 25 books and write them in like A through Y. And then you use those books to cross reference. So, say book A is A Darker Shade of Magic, not a book I read this year, but say it is. And book B is Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Again, not a book I read this year, but we're going for it. So you would say A versus B, A and B, which one was your favorite? And you would write in A or B. And then you would do the same thing for A versus C and also B versus C and A versus D, B versus D, C versus D, et cetera, all the way down. And then down here, you count up how many times A won and how many times B won and how many times C won and how many times D won, E and F and G and H and I and J and K and all of the et cetera above. And then once you know how many times that thing won, you know which one the winner is. So it gives you your actual top 25 and not just your top book, like a book bracket. If this is a lot for you, you could just do 10. I did 25 because it was 2025. So, it's fine. But that is how that is ideally done. In the land of things. And then I didn't look at what I actually got that out to look at, which was how thick of a pen did I use for that? I used this one. But first, where's my gray? Here it is. Book matrices, that's what we're going with, are fantastic. I love them. You are going to mess this up 120% if you do it this way. Risk it for the biscuit. Be a step down. This one. Step down. And this one. Oops. Be here. This one. Be here. I'm concentrating. Be quiet. Shoe. I think I got that right. I could absolutely be wrong, but I think I'm right. And then yeah, must get ready for work because people still get ice cream in 30-degree weather. I mean, I like ice cream. And I think that the opposite direction is going to be a struggle. You thought that direction was bad. Wait until you start going the opposite way. So in theory, this one would be A, B. It would be blank, but this one, C, D. So it should be every other one to the end of the thing. I think that's right. As I said, the bravery that I'm currently showing, this was a choice. So there will be an outline to this, and usually you would do, you would do anyway, it's a thing. But the problem is when you put the marker in first, or the outline in first rather, you bleed the marker when you do this. And so then it ends up really messy, which, I mean, it's not perfect anyway because it's me doing it. But it looks a hot dang mess, even more so than this. So I don't know. Oh, I think this one also should that one have one? No, it's right. It's right. I think it's right. Anyway, we'll find out here in a minute. Broke my brain when reading the chart. Do you have to change from vertical to horizontal halfway through? Like, for why? There's only one box vertically. Listen, I don't actually know that it makes sense. Okay. Because I haven't used that one yet. But in theory, why would only have one box? Because, so this bottom row is for writing in how many times it was the winner. You feel me? Y only needs to go up against X at this point because it's already done all the rest of them on this row. You know? In theory, I think this works. Because it would have gone against X in this row and Y in this row and B in this row, et cetera, on and on forever. And then this row technically could be like separated from it, but I didn't do that because I like to be difficult. I am not a math magician for sure, but it's fine. Even if it's not fine, it's fine. You know? I'm gonna have to invest in a new black marker. This one, the little felty guy, is a little rough. It's shaped like the chemical miscibility tables I posted in the lab with the periodic tables to see if chemicals are miscible. Mixable. Yeah. And then you just do one of these. Do 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 do. So far, so good. Haven't effed up yet. There's still time. Oh, did I mess up at the end? No. Nope, that is exactly the same thing that happened in the other one. Because A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Also, in theory, you could number these instead of letter them. But I thought that would just confuse me even more. So let's do it this way. T-U-B. Wow. I was like, there's not enough letters in here. I was completely forgetting the letter W. Like, just was gone. Gone. Yeah. Erasable black pencil would not be a bad option. I should have continued the these down into here, and I did not. And that's going to give me a headache later. But as you can see, see how those ones are darker? That's because the pen smeared. Which is why you shouldn't do that, Jessica. Anyway, ta-da. We did a page. Let's move on. Oh, now it's the fun part. Reading logs. So some people take their reading log and they make it like with the pictures and the star ratings underneath of it, and it's pretty and super cool, and that's not me, y'all. I like mine to just be a list of the books that I read, and I enjoy that. So today we are going to make a reading log that is going to have these cut out on 2 pages so that I have 3 spreads of reading logs. Excuse me. And we're going to decorate some of the pages, but first we shall cut. Somehow, miraculously, almost as if it's like I planned it, we're going to end up in the same place we were at last year. So as we were discussing earlier, the whole thing where, like, if I cut the top, if I cut next to the binding, I typically just glue it down. These 2 pages just happen to be right in the middle of a binding, so these will just pull right out like they were nothing. It's not really a struggle. I don't have to fight with them. I can just cut them right out, move on with my life. This is the cut mark. This is the cut mark. Is it the cut mark? Because it's a different line over here. It should be 8 down, right? Right. I'm asking you guys like you know. No, that is not the cut line. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. It can be the new cut line. Just means my other things are off. Should be up a row. Do I want to take these down a row or these up a row? What's on the next page? They're down further, so take those ones down a row instead of moving 4 up a row. Nobody's perfect, y'all, including me. But yeah, because it's just at the center of that paper, you just, then you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, the pages aren't straight either. That's the other thing, is like, see how one is, you can see it behind the other. I'll fix that also. But first, we're just gonna cut a little bit right off of there. And then I will put these two together. But yeah, like you cut on the dots, because theoretically the dots should be in the same spot, but they are 100% not in the same spot. And so they end up kind of with like a little bit of a hot mess, but it's fine. Alrighty then. The next thing we need to do is round these corners, lest it drive me insane. Hello? That's not right. What is this thing doing? Hello? My corner rounder is having a moment. Maybe I'm having a moment. That one worked perfectly. This one, it must be the page must not be cut straight. Oh, it's not. The corner rounder is not having a moment. I am having a moment. It's like, I can't do that. I'm gonna need you to make that page straight so I can cut it. Still not great. I'll fix that later. Bottoms, perfect. Tops, questionable. She said she'd fix it later, but she's fixing it now. I did it. Did it. I mean, I just live here, you know? All right. Next is that I didn't think I used any color on these. I think for the most part, we just used gray. And we also, again, need to be down a row. So we can do it here instead of up there. And then later I'll go through and erase the things I don't need. But y'all don't need to watch me erase stuff for 6 hours. There's no fun in that. Okie dokie artichoke. Also, I'm only going to show you doing this on one page. You don't need to see me do it 16 times. And we'll do the same thing here. And we'll do the same thing here. But the fun part, actually, I'll go ahead and do this one. That way I can do decorations without having to worry about messing it up. And so these will just be the title, author, and rating. Could I have made stickers for these so that they matched everything else and were not in my terrible handwriting? Yes. And did I? Obviously not. Okay, we're going to do some washi tape. Let's do... Also, for the most part, with washi tape, I don't believe in straight lines. I do occasionally do straight lines on things, but not often. And it also depends on the context. So I like it to just be a little wonky. A little cattywampus, if you will. Cattywampusy makes me happy. Let's do this one over here. And there is no rhyme or reason to washi tape. You just kind of just throw it on there wherever. There's not like a definitive answer of why we do the things the way we do them. It's nice to layer. It's nice to have coordinating colors or coordinating designs. But for the most part, it's just, we're just winging it, y'all. Anyone who is washi taping stuff is winging it. I do want to use a different tape on this side, however, comma. But I don't remember which one I was going to use that I thought was the most in the same color family. I think it was this one. It's not that one. This one's more blue. That one's more brown. That one's more pink. So it's either this one or this one. I actually think either of these would be fine. This one has more oranges, which I believe this has more orange. So we'll go with that. This is one I got from the washi tape. No, not washi tape shop. From Journal Say, rather. And this is one that you theoretically want to be straight. Theoretically. I want my tweezers. This is going to be a time TM. Washi tape is even worse than stickers when it comes to getting it off of the backing. These clear ones that aren't, you know, just sticky tape, they're an actual thing that has to be peeled. And it's a pain in the buttuckus. And sometimes you just gotta get in there and tear it. Lest you'll be here for the rest of your life. And nobody wants that. Okay. Try to line that up the best I can with the end of this page. And then we'll cut the little extra bits off. Boop. I should have used the small scissors for this. Okay. Let me have my finger back, please. So this will be our reading log page. I'll probably find a sticker or something to put in here just to, you know, make it feel okay. I probably should have made some of these in the colorways with the smaller decor stickers, but I didn't. Oh, excuse me. a hiccup and a burp at the same time, just what everybody wanted to hear super loud on a microphone. But yeah, I'll get something to add in there to make it more pretty. But yeah, so we have like a bookshelf over here. We've got some cool stuff going on over here, and then that'll just be our background for all of our reading log pages. This is the DNF graveyard. We're just going to put the sticker on the top for now because, again, if you weren't here earlier, we talked about I printed these out to put at the bottoms of the 2 pages. And I'm just going to put the covers of the books that I DNF this year on here. But my printer and I got into a fight earlier and it jammed. And ever since it jammed, it's printing weird lines in the things it's printing. So I'm going to have to work on that and get that to a better state so that I can then actually print things that are pretty to look at. Ta-da, that page is done. Look at us go. Start of year physical TBR. So this guy will next year. No, come back, Carl. Let me show you this year's start of year TBR. Nope, that's book purchases from this year. It was a last minute edition, so it's at the very end. So this was my physical TBR for the year, like everything I started with on my physical TBR shelf in 2025 at the beginning. It was 137 books. And then as I have either read or DNF'd things, with the exception of the shelf here, as I've either read or DNF'd things, I have colored them in. The shelf I ended up doing like rereads in because I had enough spaces that I didn't need this shelf. But yeah, so here, that's what we ended up doing. Doing something similar this year. However, I did not format them correctly, and they are giant, and they barely fit on the page. I also took out some of the decor and copied some of the books. So there's actually more books this time, which I needed more books because I have more books. So this one, I think I'm going to... Because I know I'm going to have extra space, I think I'm going to put down some of the map sheet at the back to like not leave any white space. Is that going to look weird? I don't know, maybe. We're all going to find out together. And if we don't like it, we can always pull it up and try something different, I guess. Also, that is very not straight in any way, shape, or form. Also, I tore it crooked and I missed this little... Oh, it'll be underneath the thing. I was like, it's going to miss this part and it's going to drive me crazy. No, it won't, because it's going to be underneath of this. Yeah, that'll just keep that one spot up there from being blank and annoying me. I also printed this on sticker paper. Could I have drew this in there? No, because I can't draw. Don't be afraid to print out giant sheets of paper to stick in your planner, friends. There's nothing wrong with not being artistic. Listen here, Carl. Get it together. What I should have done is tore that in half, put half at the top and half at the bottom, and centered this on the page. But here we are. Okay. And then I want to do the same thing on this side. Have that there. Up a little higher because that spacing is going to look wild. Unless we actually do keep the whole thing. And then You see nothing. None of this is happening. Okay. Listen, don't stick to each other, okay? Listen, I'm trying to do stuff here, okay? You cooperate with me. Oh, God. Tell me you're janky without telling me that you're janky. Well, I mean, I could have just used more washi. It doesn't really matter, but I mean, it was there. Why waste more, you know? Waste not, want not, and all that jazz. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right here. Actually, a pretty hard delineation right there, so it should work just fine, actually. Washi tape is kind of a pain because it's so thin. But also that's good because it's not going to take up a whole bunch of space and make the notebook get all weird. But also, can you get it close enough to the top, Jessica, that we're not struggling for the rest of our lives? Probably not. See, you did it, and then you moved it, and then it didn't do what you wanted it to do. Now we're here. Anybody else talk to themselves when they're doing stuff like this? And then you just put a crease in it and call it a day. No one will ever know. That's just a weird valley in that. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. It's just how that looks. Okay. And then we shall punch the corners of the tape. Very textured there in the middle for some reason. I don't really know why. She says knowing exactly why. Saying things out loud helps it stick. I thought it was more just so that it didn't sound like we were just sitting here in absolute, complete silence like a bunch of weirdos, but I'll take it. Now, the real question is, and then there's just like this, look at this random, just long ass piece of nothing. On both sides, actually, but I'll just find a marker that's similar in color to that and color those in later. Because I know it will annoy me. It may not annoy you, but it will annoy me every time I open this book to see that. So I've got 900 markers. I'll just find one that's a similar color and color it in. Move on with my life. Hello? I would very much like you to come apart so that I can put you in this book. Hey, gracias. If you're here and you're an hour and 30 minutes into this and you're going, God, why am I here right now? When I am done with this, when I get everything in, I will just film an actual flip through of the planner and post that as well so that you don't have to actually be here this whole time. But you're already here now, so. But yeah, so this will be my start of the year physical TBR. and I'll just write in every book that I have. As if you've been here before on the channel, you may know that the end of the year, I typically do an audit of my bookshelves. I'll go through all of my unread books, make sure that they're all logged um, in my unread TBR list in my computer, and then also take an audit of my read books and make sure that they are all in my spreadsheet as well. I don't know that this year's audit is going to happen right at the end of December, beginning of January, because I have some plans to do some more bookshelves, and I don't know that that's going to get done before the end of December. Um, but in theory, it is a theory that we run off of on this channel. Every year at the end of the year, we do an audit and see where we're at. So. Okay, now we're at 2026 purchases, so more bookshelves. These ones will be much like last year's, this year's, however you want to say that. They're all vertical for a specific reason. That reason is that I put the month in and it's a colored book. And then I write in all of the books I bought that month and leave them white. And then as I read them, I color them in gray. So January, February, March, all these little colored ones are like the month delineations. And then I have read most of the books I've bought this year, as you can tell by how much gray space is on this. But I wanted these shelves that are specifically vertical so that I don't get confused by the stacked books. Also, I printed this out and then printed out a second one later on. And obviously my sizing was not the same last year, but I did print them out together this year. I also struggled with some clip art issues last year as well. I don't think this year's is quite as bad, but you know, here we are. So this one's going to go up here. Is this the correct orientation? Green, red, yellow, green, red, yellow, green, red, yellow. Yes, that is correct. Do we want to put tape on these? Are we going to leave them blank? What are we going to do with these ones? I think for the sake of not being exactly the same as the previous page, we'll do this guy. Ah! I ripped it. Oh boy. Thank you, Tennille. I'm glad I'm able to keep you company and give you ideas. And also, yes, I'm very proud of myself for having read so many books I purchased this year. I'm sad that I didn't read more of what I already had on my shelves. Like I should have prioritized those, but I'm happy that I was able to really crush this year's purchases. Now, I have bought several more books in the last couple of days. And so those will be rolling in. I probably won't read many of those before the end of the year, but that do be how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Somewhere on my desk, there's a pair of small purple scissors. They're very tiny. They are what I need at this current moment in time. If you see them, feel free to treat this like Blue's Clues and yell out where they are. My mom and I joke about the number of times that I'll walk into the other room and say, will you come in here at my desk and find this thing that I know I'm staring right at that I can't see? Because there's so much stuff on my desk and I just lose things. And I I know they were here earlier. So one of my other problems is that last night I was working on my planner set up for December. And so I had so much Christmas stuff on my desk when I started that I had to like put everything in piles and like I think perhaps the scissors may have ended up in the December pile and I don't know where that is currently. So I guess I'll just use the big scissors. It's easier to do these cuts with small scissors though. I was using them before we started because I was cutting out these little letter things. So they're here somewhere. Like right here. Like right in front of my face somewhere. As I continue to look for them, I'm like, I know they're here somewhere. I'll fix that later when I find the correct scissors to fix that. Yeah, that'll do, pig. That'll do. Okay, there's that. And then I made this one shorter. They're the same size. I just cut one row off so that I could get the purchases sticker up there. I think I did a pretty good job of getting all of the colors like in the same color families. You know, going from picking out this washi tape to picking out these 3 markers to recoloring these stickers. I think I did a pretty good job. I'm pretty proud of that aspect, honestly. I'm proud of myself for that, though I probably shouldn't be because you know whatever. But I did a good job. Hello, please come apart. I will probably once I've figured out the printer issue. This way. Yeah. Once I figured out the printer issue, I will probably go back in and recolor some of like these decor ones with the flowers and teacups and books and stuff on them and fill in these spots just so that they don't look so weird. But that will be a problem for a different day's Jessica. Because today's Jessica just doesn't have it in her. This also needs something. Sometimes I feel like I'm allergic to white space, you know? I feel like the white space is too much. It makes me cringy. Again, I thought I cut that so it wouldn't be too long. Let's be real, you didn't cut it, you tore it. I thought I tore that so that it would be the proper size, and I did not. Therefore, we're not gonna tear it anyway. I'll just tear it. Move on with your life, Jessica. Oy vey. To be me. And some of this guy. Someone's here. Is it my child or is it someone else? Okay. Next page. It is my child because she opened her door. Also, the dogs are going absolutely bananas. She is their favorite person. I don't believe they could care less about me. They're just like, my best friend is here. She's ours. We'll be her best friend forever. And I'm chopped liver. Or the dog equivalent of chopped liver, because I think dogs would actually like chopped liver. You know, listen, Jessica, that is like sticking clear off of the page, my dude. You're going to need to get it together. I did a lot of research lab work. I had to make lab books that could be defended in court, or did structure my reading journal might have ended up a bit lab book adjacent by accident. I mean, that's fair. I mean, you just kind of end up making the thing that you know. And my first couple of, when I first started bullet journaling, I had been doing Happy Planner for several years at that point. And so a lot of my layouts and things were very reminiscent of what I had been using in Happy Planner. It was more flexible and I changed things more often. But they were very similar too because of that. I'd been using it for so long. That's just what my brain had acclimatized to. So that do be making the sense. That's everything I need in that. And pre-orders are title, author, date. Why is that one in capitals and the rest of them aren't? Don't know. And then arrived. Check mark. And then, this one actually only needed 3, but whatever. Title, author. I'm going to make a note of location, I guess, since I've got an extra space. In case it's like a book that I want to buy from like a specific special edition or something. That makes sense, right? So I accidentally fucked that up. They're not worried you'll disappear. The kid's schedule is likely hard to predict. She's here more often than I am, honestly. She works night shift at a nursing home, and they haven't been very busy, so they've been calling her in to like not come in. because they don't need her. But yeah, she does kind of run around with her friends a lot, so that does make sense. She vanishes from the face of the earth for no reason for funsies. What am I looking for? Something to stick on here to make it not so boring. Yeah, right at the bottom of that shelf should be fine. Bottom of which shelf? You've lost your spot. Yeah, she is a nurse's aide. She's looking at going back to school to get her LPN. But for right now, she's just kind of figuring out life because she just turned 18 and graduated high school and, you know, all the things. So she's just chilling, learning what it's like to have a job and how to exist without going to school full time. And so she's just a little babby, learning all the things about life. Nope, you missed it. Yeah, the higher, more educated positions, things that you have to have more licensings and things for. She has her certifications and licensings in some things, but the stuff that requires more licensing, those are more sought after, harder to find kind of people. Hospitals are definitely understaffed. Things like that. So it definitely is an issue here as well, but just not for the specific position that she works. Look at that crooked line you just made. There you go, crooked line. You continue to be crooked, but less crooked than you were. It's really all a girl can ask for. Ba-da! That's it on that for now. Again, I will do more on these pages, but I need to do some more printing and some more thinking. So there will be a full flip through on the channel in a couple of weeks once I'm done. But I just kind of wanted to hang today and work on this and see how everybody was doing and talk to myself and to Neil. Okay. This is one that we got to do this thing with again. I watched, we watched, I should say, K-Pop Demon Hunters the other night for Brittany's Patreon live show. And now I've got it stuck in my brain. I mean, not that I hadn't seen it before, but it's extra stuck in my brain now. So I'm just over here beat bopping with it. Having the time of my life. Trying to find a trifle or a fancy pudding dessert. Oof. What do people think of it? Everybody really liked it. Brittany was hiding under her emotional support blanket. So it was a good time. Most of us had seen it already. Hi Jay. Jay was there too. But yeah, we were all kind of vibing with the movie, and Brittany hid under her blanket. I sobbed again. Again, I've seen it before, but yeah, doesn't stop me from crying like a baby. I've been rewatching Rizzoli and Isles. I started like last week, and I'm on season 3 already because I have problems. And there's like a specific episode in season 1 where I think it's season 1, it might be season 2. I don't know. Either way, there's a Pacific episode towards the beginning of the show, where one of the main characters' old police partner's daughter is kidnapped, and like they're trying to obviously the police are looking for the kidnapped girl, and they find the girl that they think is her, but it ends up being this other girl that was also kidnapped by the same people. And the way that episode makes me weep. I mean, like, I am a hot mess every time in that episode. I don't know what it is about that episode, but I just break down every time into a sobbing mess of tears and snot. Highly recommend. I don't know who was writing K-pop Demon Hunters, but first of all, I'm so happy that somebody that isn't Disney is having like fantastic success with an animated movie. But also, like, did they write that movie for the TikTok girlies? The book talk girlies, I should say. Because we have a morally gray love interest who is super hot. The girlies are like making popcorn with their eyeballs because the guys are so hot. Um, hiding their flaws in yourself, because you're afraid others won't accept you. Falling for the bad boy, seeing parts of yourself in him, seeing him underneath what he shows everyone else. I was like, the reason why this is so popular is because the book talk girlies found it, and they went for it, and I fully appreciate that. I watched it when it first came out because I caught a preview on Netflix of Soda Pop. I was like, "Wow, that song's really catchy, and I have nothing better to do with my day, so I'm just gonna watch this movie." And by the end of it, like, I was sobbing into tissues with, like, snot running down my face, and was like, "This is not what I was expecting to happen today." So if you haven't watched K-pop Demon Hunters and you wanna cry or have your feelings hurt, highly recommend. And, like, the romance is sad, like, for one, like, don't get me wrong, like, it has some definite sad parts in it, but for me, it was more of just, like, the aspect of Rumi learning how to love herself, and to not only for her to love herself, but for the people who, were supposed to love her, to love all parts of her and not just the parts that they wanted to love. And it was a rough time emotionally for me. You know? You have that sometimes. Yeah, there's some Korean language in it. There's, definitely references to, K-pop things. I'm not super up on K-pop, which if Danny was here, my bad. If Mars was here, they could tell us more, about K-pop things because Mars is a K-pop stan. Um, but I know enough that like there were things that I was catching and I was like actually like, all right, like they actually did their research. They weren't just like, taking from the universe and not actually doing the research. And so I think they did a really good job. And just learning things about the movie itself and about like the actresses and the singer who does Rumi's voice. Like, f- first off, her singing voice, I should say. Um, she was not originally intended to be the singing voice of Rumi. She was just recording it as like a demo for whoever they would originally, find eventually to do Rumi's voice, her singing voice. But she did such a fantastic job that they were like, No, this is her. Like, we're never gonna find anybody better than this. This is the girl we want." And then also the fact that she is someone who has tried out for female K-pop groups in the past and was told that she was too old, and that she wasn't what they were looking for. And then she's, chopping Billboard 100 tarts charts, um, with a fictional band. Is fantastic. I love that. I love the whole idea of just the background behind everything, which, for those of you who don't know, music is my first love. Like, music is honestly more important than writing to me. But any form of storytelling is good. Um, but I always wanted to produce music. That's actually what my degree is in. And so watching that and just being like, these are some fucking banger songs. Like, to have been in the room that was like mixing those harmonies, I would have, I mean, yeah, your girl was impressed. Okay. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. They did the Macy's Day Parade show, Thursday. They've done some late night TV. Um, the other two girls that do the singing voices for Mira and uh, oh my god, where did she go? It's left my brain. Anyway, the other two girls, I can't believe I can't think of her name right now. Um, they are in K-pop groups already themselves. So, why can't I think of her name? Just completely blank in there. Since we're here and we're just hanging out and chit chatting about movies and things, I have been working on for December making a list of like the movies that I want to watch this year. A lot of them are movies that I watch every year in December. But like, what are your favorite Christmassy movies that you like to watch every year at Christmassy time? I really like to watch the Santa Clauses. Um, and then when I watch those, I found a couple of years ago they were doing the Santa Clauses, which is like a TV show continuation of the Santa Claus movies. And it's so much fun. If you haven't watched it, you absolutely should. It deals more with like the lives of the kids and the elves. The elves are fantastic. I love them. Um, I love the elves from the Santa Claus movies. They're so good. They're funny. They make me laugh. Um, I love the way that they get rid. So, like in the Santa Claus movies, they have children playing the elves, and so in order to get past the fact that like Bernard and some of the other elves aren't there, the ones that we watched in the Santa Claus movies, and that were like 20 years later, they have something like how the Amish have Rumspringa, where they can go out and, like, spend some time in, modern society, and then if they can decide to stay in modern society or go back and continue being Amish. Um, so the elves have that, like, they could go back they can come down to, like, regular, wherever in the earth and spend time with regular humans, and they can decide to spend time with the humans or to go back, and live with the elves. And if they go into the human world, they begin to age. And it's so funny. Like it was such a smart way of like getting past that step. Um, it made me so happy. Like just for somebody to have come up with that and like it made me giggle and I had a good time. Um, totally immune to K-pop until I saw BTS. We love that. Um, I honestly like, if I heard a K-pop song, I would be like, "Okay, I know this song," but I couldn't, like, match any band to anything, but that is not, a K-pop specific thing, that is just Jessica doesn't listen to modern music. Um, the troublemakers are always making fun of me because if I've heard a song in the last 10 years, they're surprised. Though Sabrina Carpenter is the exception to that because I have been a Sabrina Carpenter stan from the very beginning. Um, like when she was still on Girl Meets World releasing albums. Um, her style and voice is completely different from what she used to sing with. Um, but I still love her. Her voice is fantastic, and I think she's hilarious. Um, yeah, I'm gonna struggle with one more sticker, and then we're gonna move on to something else because you don't need to see me struggle with all of these stickers to label these dates. I can do that later when I'm watching reruns of Rizzoli and Isles. So anyway, Muppet Family Christmas and While You Were Sleeping. I don't think I've ever seen While You Were Sleeping. I've definitely seen Muppets Family Christmas for sure. I've seen While You Were Sleeping. Love Actually, I actually don't like. I understand why people like it, but I just there's like a lot of cheating and horrible treatment of women in that movie. And so it's not really a favorite of mine. But I understand why people like it. I again, the Santa Clauses, there's a movie on it came out way, way back in the day when it was still like ABC Family, or maybe Freeform, or it came out in like the early 2000s. It's called Christmas Cupid, and it has Ashley Benson, Christina Milian, and Chad Michael Murray in it. And I love that movie so much. Like I actually bought the digital version so I can watch it. I actually think I might actually have a physical. I think I might own the DVD. Um, but yeah, I love that movie so much. Ashley Benson's character dies in the very beginning of the movie and becomes a Christmas Cupid. Basically, she's like the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future. And she's trying to help Christina Milian get with the love of her life, who ends up being Chad Michael Murray, but is not Chad Michael Murray for the most of the movie. And it is so funny. I love that movie so much. It's so stupid, and I love it. Um, Ernest Saves Christmas, love it. We love Ernest Saves Christmas at this house. Um, what else is on my list? The Happiest Season, or Happiest Season, I guess, is what that one's called. That one is a lesbian romance on Hulu, I think. And it's got Kristen Stewart and Dan Levy and Aubrey Plaza. So funny, about a closeted lesbian taking her girlfriend home for Christmas. And then she just tells her parents that it's like her roommate and she didn't have any family or anywhere to go for Christmas. And she doesn't find out that her girlfriend didn't tell her family that she's a lesbian until they're there. And it is the best time. I put Home Alone on the list for this year because I don't think I've watched that since I was a little kid. The Mistletones I also love because it's a musical and I love to sing along with it, and it's got a cute romance in it. And this year I want to watch Love Hard, which I haven't watched yet, which is Nina Dobrev and is it Jimmy Yang? I don't know. I can see his face, but I don't remember his name because I'm a terrible human being. But that's on the list for this year. I haven't watched that one yet, but it's been like I've seen it a million times on Netflix, and I'm like, yeah, I want to watch that one. So it's very busy. I should have swapped these backgrounds for sure when I was making this yesterday, but I did not. And so here we are with like this one is brown and this one is like blah, but you know, it is what it is. That was yesterday's project. Anyway, anticipated releases. They'll just have like every month we'll have a list of what the anticipated releases for that year are, or that month are rather. And the date so that I know when to look for things to come out. And again, I will put all of the dates in, but I'll do that later when we're not all sitting here praying for the end of time. So I can end my life with you. And put that there just for funsies. Next page. Oh, this is another easy one. It's just my arcs. I actually can't do Home Alone, can't stand the kid. Well, that's why I want to watch it, because I haven't watched it since I was a young kid and like I was in his age bracket at the time. So like as a kid, I really loved that movie and I haven't seen it for years and years. And I just want to watch it and see if I still enjoy it because I haven't watched it in so long. I did that with The Sixth Sense at Halloween time. That is crooked AF, Jessica. But I watched The Sixth Sense for like the first time since it came out around Halloween time. And when I tell you that I remember that movie being so scary when I was a kid, and the way that I sobbed while watching that as an adult, I was like, I thought this was a scary movie. And I was just crying. It was so sad. There's a Lifetime movie called Christmas Ever After starring Ali Stroker as a romance novelist that I watch every year. I could get behind that. My mom really likes Hallmark and Lifetime Christmas movies, and I've seen the majority of them at one point or another. And I do, there are some that I enjoy that I do like to watch. I didn't put any of them on my list this year, but mostly just because I know I'll see them periodically as mom's watching them. You know what? I'm just going to say this page is going to be set up the same as like this one with just some lines. So I don't know that you really need to see me set that up. Next. This is the same Brundrex series to finish. Not really a thing that we need to be here for. This one we can do though. This one will be the TBR takedown for the year. I am going to, as she jokes and says, I'm going to try to come back to YouTube this year. I mean, I made a kind of sort of comeback in fall time, but then gave up again. So we'll see what happens. But I want to do TBR takedown. I haven't exactly figured out this over here yet. But I plan to like decorate the front of this with something. I don't know what yet. Um, and then this underneath will probably just have like the month and then the list of everything that I read, hauled and unhauled. Because my problem that I'm finding this year is that without having this list, I'm I'm going off of lists that I've made in other places, and they're not all the same. And so I'm finding that I'm like double counting books for things. And so if I feel like if I have a list where I keep here, um, that I'll definitely know exactly what I'm counting for on the chart, and that will help me um, keep it better organized and more accurate throughout the year. Um, but I didn't really want to see just all of that data, like just lists of books. So I thought I would put a cover on it and put something pretty on there, you know? Can make it pretty. You know what? I think I'm going to put some of this behind it. Just for funsies. I don't think I've even used the word one yet. Every time I think of a place to put it, it's going in the opposite direction. No, I got attacked. Anyway, we were talking about, let's see. I have an approximately A5 journal this year, but the pages are pretty small. I've been reading too many books to fit on the pages, so I might do B5 for school this year. I like a square because I can do more decoration. That is really the only reason why I went square over A5, was because of the decoration potential. Now, I am struggling with that decision with my daily planner for the year. Because an A5 is big enough for everything, and I could just use an A5, but then, and I also have 4 A5s that I, at some point will need to use, and I've got 2 squares left, so I have more A5s, and I'm like, you should use what you have more of. So, I'm really struggling with that, okay? It's a struggle. First I thought square, but now I'm leaning B5. I think either is fine. I mean, I think it depends on how many pages you have, because like, so with this B5, you can see or this square, I still have quite a few pages at the end that I haven't used, like 10 or 15. Now, again, if this was like a high reading year, just put those right on top of that sticker. It's fine. I probably wouldn't, I would have used more than that. But if you look at last year's reading planner, like the majority of the end of this is not used. So, but I was doing just like not a lot of decoration. It was a lot of just writing. Because I didn't have the space for decor. So, like the majority of the back half of this isn't big. This also has more pages in it than the other. So that's a thing to think about too, is that a lot of times your A5s will have more pages than a B5 or a square. See, that's what it looks like filled out. Ta-da! Oh, Jessica. You do be a hot mess, girl. I actually had stats in this one, but not many. All right, back to what we were doing. 35 years older than you? I was already too old to enjoy the violent shenanigans and cheer them on. I mean, that is fair. I'm 38, so I am, I mean, I'm not a baby. I'm not a spring chicken. But yeah. You did use the word one if it's the white one with the black cursive on one of the first pages. Did I? I did right there. Look at me go. I'm gonna have to put it in somewhere else though, because otherwise it's not very connective. Let's figure it out later. Every shape I've tried, I've forgotten after a month or two. So I have like 10 journals and calendars and another 5 or 10 notepads, like 15 or 20 pages with random notes and then blank. You know, I fully support that actually, because that is a common mishap around here. So my plan is on this one is to write in up here whatever the year is I start, whatever number I start with on my physical unread TBR, and then just do regular TBR takedown from there out until the end of the year, and we'll see what happens on that one. Again, I'll figure this out at some point and decorate it, but it is what it is right now. This one is okay. So like I said earlier, I've been doing the bingo board from hell from when at Literary Diversions. There we go. That's her name. But this year I'm going to do a hexed hexagon. And if you're in the Troublemakers chat, you saw a little bit of this because I was asking which version of the setup y'all liked better. So I am the hex library, so I'm doing a hexed hexagon. I will interchangeably say hex hexagram, even though it is not a hexagram. It is a hexagon. But you know, and so instead of having 9 things that I want to achieve, I have 6, and I think that's more achievable based off of my this year's reading. So I have this guy printed out with my 6 goals for the year, which are 25 2026 releases, 25 purchases made prior to 2023, which I only have about 25 of. So, you know, finish 10 series, read 25 purchases from 23 to 25, 25 backlist arcs. If you've seen my arc, I've got more than 25, and 10 rereads. So those are going to be my things for the year, my goals for the year. And then these little circles have a letter in them. Now, when I'm using these for videos, the little circle will have the number that we're in currently. But for this setup, it has a letter in it so that I can match the letter up to the chart. And then I'll have on the chart where we're at. And then we're going to do a cutout and have our lists on here so that we can keep track of that. And let's do yes, check the number of pages. Check the number of pages because a lot of times these smaller books have more pages than the larger books. Not the super small ones, like a Traveler's or a personal size have even less pages, but that's because otherwise they would be thicker than they are wide. But yeah, if you check the page count, a lot of times the like A5 will have more pages than a square or a B6. B5. What are you talking about? B5, B6? One's smaller, one's bigger. I don't remember which. I don't remember the exact dimensions. I was thinking about getting a Traveler's notebook because I just like the dimensions, and then I realized I have one and I don't use it, so why would I get another one? I don't know why that sounded so squeaky. Why would I get another one? Oh god. I need help, y'all. I also keep thinking today is Sunday, and I'm like, I don't want to go to work, but it's on Saturday. I still don't want to go to work, but I have to yet. I have this. To be fair, I intended to use this for tarot stuff for the year, and I have not. It's got like a manifestation thing at the front, and the lunar calendar for 2025. And then like all of these manifesting things to do moon manifestations on full moons and or other moon cycles. And literally all I've done in here is write in the Sabbats for the year. That's it. So obviously I don't think I need a traveler's notebook because I'm not using the one I got. You know. 67. So only 29 years. Yeah, see? But yeah, I definitely get it. I used to really love the Goosebumps books when I was a kid, like to discuss like the idealization of things from your childhood. I used to love the Goosebumps books when I was a kid. And I tried reading some for a readathon last year, I think. I read, I think it's the first Goosebumps book, Welcome to Dead House. And I was just like, oh my God, these kids are so annoying. Like I couldn't stand it. The kids were so annoying that I wanted to punch them in the face. And I was just like, how did I ever read this and enjoy it? I have no idea how I ever, ever was just like, yeah, this is fine. Like, oh, yeah. So I understand the concept of, thinking that Kevin McAllister is just an annoying little brat, because I definitely have had that with other things before. That is way crooked. My A5 is 192 and my B5 is 150. I won't use 150 pages this year, so it's bigger pages. Even if I expand, hopefully would have enough space. That's fair. But yeah, definitely something to look into when you're looking at like what size you're going for and things, because we do have different numbers of pages in them. There are 2 new books in the main storyline in the Voldemort series. I think I want to reread the other main storyline books to refresh my brain before I get to those. I still have only read the first 3. I own the second 3. The is it Magic's Promise, Magic something, or I own those ones, the second trilogy. But obviously I haven't done a whole lot of reading them, so I love her writing though. I really enjoyed the first Voldemort trilogy, but the Hunter trilogy just is like one of my favorite series to reread. I've reread it like 3 times. I love her character work. Like her characters are so good. And I love how like she's a white woman writing in fantasy in the late 90s, early 80s. No, late 80s, early 90s. And there's so much like inclusivity in it, like disabled characters, queer characters, the throuple from the first series. Like there's so much like that you didn't really see, like you still struggle to see in books now, but like she's just been publishing these things for 30 years in the background. I love her. Like she's my hero. I actually don't know if she's a terrible person or not, so like she's not really my hero, but like you know what I mean, right? Okay. No, I stuck to myself. I read my first Goosebumps book this year. It was better than I thought it would be, but no desire to read more. Yeah, and that's kind of, I was like, I read the one, and I will pick up some intermittently if I need a quick read for a readathon and I have an audiobook available to me. But for the most part, I'm good. I don't need them. Oh, I should have checked this one. It's not in the middle. I should have glued that over there. If I could turn back time. Hello, Kat. Welcome in. We've been here for 2.5 hours talking about absolutely nothing and working in my reading planner, reading journal. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. For 2026. I think I will glue in this one, and then this one I'll cut out, and that way it's only one that I've lost integrity on. I wish you guys could see my desk right now. It is a hot dang mess in here. Voldemort goes up and down, and it's made up of main storyline books further adventures and side quests. Yeah, I have a list. I got a list off of the interwebs that someone made that was like a recommended storylines for like the actual main plot lines and then things you could add in. And so that's what I have been following. Which, how accurate is it? I don't know, but I don't know. I just went for it. Again, why don't I just cut these at the same time so they're equal instead of cutting them and then going, those aren't even, and then cutting them again. You tell me, we'll both know. Still not even. Reading her books. Finding her books. There could be good people. Yeah, absolutely. Disabled, queer people of color. Her best attempt. Listen, again, it was a white woman in the late 80s, early 90s. Just the fact that she was adding people in, like, you know, she's very practical in interviews. She runs or used to a Birds of Prey. Well, then good for her. I say that because like there have definitely been some people that we were like, they're great, and then like they start talking and you're like, I'm just kidding. They're not great. So, you know. Sending your personal journal. Excellent. We're not going to be here too much longer because I think this is one of the last spreads that I have to set up. And I'm not really setting up everything. I'm just kind of doing like the main bits and pieces. And then I'll set up the rest of it off camera and then come back and film a full flip through. Because no one wants to sit here and watch me agonize over pulling stickers apart for 6 hours. It's just not on anybody's list of things to do, I'm sure. I don't think. Yeah, I'm like, was I supposed to cut that? Yes, you were. Again, normally, had I been thinking, I would have cut this one, taped it over here, cut this one, taped it over here, so as to uphold the integrity of this book. But because I didn't think about that ahead of time, I'm going to cut this one out. And I try to just score it and then tear it, not actually cut all the way through it, because that's when you cut into the threads of the book and it becomes a problem. And then, what did I do at the top of this thing so I don't stab myself? And then this one I will tape down. I've seen people just like leave this much on and tape it down, and it aggravates me to no end. So you do you, whatever you think works best for you. Whatever's going to aggravate you the least amount to have on your page works for me, you know? I prefer to just have it going all the way across, and then I'm just going to stick a sticker on top of it. So it makes me feel more at peace. Listen, it's not that complicated. You just go in the little thing right there. Why is that song so good in my head? Worked on computer games in the 90s in the hill country near Austin, and she and Larry visited to do some consulting. Then he released one of their rehabilitated rappers while they were there. Excellent. She seems like a nice lady, but I don't know her personally or anything. So, and also sometimes you think you know somebody, and you really don't. Did I go above that whole thing? I did. Excellent. Updating my journal a little bit now. Excellent. Scared me doing the same thing. Yep, we're just kind of like chit-chatting and journaling and doing the things. I also like to journal with people. I love to watch Jess at Jessie Curran when she's doing like organizing and unhauling supplies, because then I get the bug to unhaul supplies and like half of my supplies go out the door. And it seems counterproductive, but you use so much more stuff when you know what you have. You really do. If you actually know what you have, you use more of it. And I love that for me. I didn't spend a lot of time with them, but they were really nice and interesting. I love that. I have a book signing coming up next Friday. That is Mindy McGinnis. And she's so cool. Like, this will be the third book signing of hers that I've gone to. I love her books. First off, her books are extremely feminist, and we love that. And also, she's just a fantastic writer. Especially creepy things. Like, her creepy stuff is so creepy, and I love that. But she comes to like my small town, to my little indie bookstore, and there's never anyone there. The first year I think there were like 7 people at the book signing, and last year there were 2. I'm counting me. And the one person didn't really have any questions, and they just kind of sat there. And so like me and Mindy and the owner of the bookstore, Chelsea, we just sat and like had a chat about like the writing process and the publishing industry and places that have inspired her books, because she's somewhat local to our area. She lives a few hours up north from where I live, but like talking about like the places that she was inspired by, like the settings in her books. And so it's like places that we've all been. And so we literally just like sat and chatted for hours about like the most random stuff, and then also publishing industry and writing and stuff. But so it's always fun. I'm excited to go and sit and talk with her again. I read one of her books, but I loved it. Yeah, I read A Madness So Discreet a bunch of years ago. And then I've read uh find it on the bookshelf here. A Long Stretch of Bad Days is really good. Um, and it's more of like a murder mystery. They are a YA, but they're upper YA. The Long Stretch of Bad Days is like a murder mystery, and then Under This Red Rock is like a psychotic thriller. Like it is something. Like it is something. And I have the audiobook of the new book, and I need to read it this week. I ordered my physical copy from the bookstore, so I'll get that at the signing. But I need to read the physical copy of the book, or I need to read the book so that I can enjoy it while I'm there. We can talk about it. I did not set these pages up. I must have gave up at this point. I must have been like, it's fine, and then moved on with my life. So I'll do that later. Madness So Discreet is the one I read. Yeah, I love that. I love the one character. So Madness So Discreet, for those of you who don't know, is set like in the early 1900s ish, back when women only needed for like their husband to say that they were crazy, and they were sent off into an asylum, and then he could divorce her and get married to a new, younger, prettier wife and start over. And the main character, she is a pregnant teenager. I'm going to move this over so you can't see it in there. And her family sent her there to basically have the baby, give it up for adoption, and then exist there because she's, not what they wanted out of a daughter. And one of the friends that she makes in the asylum is there because she has syphilis, which is syphilis. I mean, I guess syphilis does make you kind of crazy, but I loved her because like she was a maid, or she was, I can't remember her exact like what she did, but she worked for this family, and she fell in love with their son, like this rich family. She fell in love with their son, and he pretended like he loved her so that he could get her to sleep with him. And he gave her syphilis. And her revenge was that she then slept with his entire family. Like every dude in the entire family line, she seduced them and had sex with them to give them all syphilis. And like, I love her. She's my hero. Like, I want to be her when I grow up. Like, what better revenge plot could there be, you know? Like, this rich guy thinks he's better than you, and he's just going to use you for sex, and he's going to give you an STD. And you're like, you know what I think I'm going to do? I am going to have sex with every member of your family. And give all of them this debilitating disease so that your whole entire family line will die out. Like, I love her. She is the hero that we all need. We did not deserve her, but we needed her for sure. That was like that story, that plot line, and that story was 100% why I like fell in love with Mindy for sure. It's not like a major plot point of the story or anything. It's just like something that they talk about at some point as to why she's there. But you know, it made me so happy. Made happy by weird things, I guess, but there we go. Now it looks off-centered on this page, but you won't see it when these ones turn. So that makes me happier. And then with this at the bottom and this at the top, it makes sense to have that way. So yeah, that's even put down here. And then that way it'll carry over. I'm just trying to make things even, man. We love even. And then a snappy. There we go. Look at that. Let's go. And then this will be similar to no, yes, yes, no, no, yes, no. It will be. You need a different book for that, Jessica. It will be similar to this one where I just have, I still need to draw these out. I didn't plan ahead. So I'll draw these little boxes out and put in the headers for each hexagon will have its own little list so I can keep track of what I've done. That's what that will be when it is complete. And then this is where I said, like, I'm going to, instead of having that page that just has 12 squares on it and using it for book clubs and readathon, no, book clubs and reading challenges, I am actually going to do a page for each book club and or reading challenge. And so I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to have on here yet. I don't know if I'm going to do like 11 spaces for book covers and then my rating, or what exactly I'm going to do, but I know that that's going to be what my decision is for that. And then I have one for Books and Lala, but so one will be for Buzzword, and then one will be for Literally Dead Book Club. And then this one is coffin covers. I am part of Jan Agaton's Patreon, and so we do coffin covers for the year. So I printed this out. This was one that she shared in her Discord, and then I just made it smaller. I cropped it in, And then I put little white boxes over boxes of the same color of the background over the prompts so that I could just write in whatever book I read for it. And then that's it. That's I'm not sure where I'm going to put these. I'm going to wait until I get more. I know there are other people that they usually have different readathons and things, and there's printables for those. So I want to wait until I have more of those before I completely decide how I'm going to set these up. So with those, they're going to wait. But for the most part, this is what we've done today. We're going to get some more stickers in here. I'm going to leave that because that has a pretty background, so that's fine. But we're going to do something for up here. And then our little pocket, I will decorate this. We'll have an index/table of contents. My rating system will get written at some point. My book matrix for the year. Reading log. This is pretty much done other than copying over my list format. DNF graveyard, which again, I need to print some more stuff out for because it's not going as planned. Start of the year physical TBR. So this will get populated once I do my audit. Once I do my shelf audit, this will get populated. Purchases. This won't start until the beginning of the year because I won't know what purchases from 2026 I have until we're in 2026, obviously. Spot for pre-orders, spot for shelf trophies, anticipated releases. ARC TBR. Friend Rec series to finish. Our TBR takedown with our little cover thing. The hex hexagon. Boop, boop. And then into our individual challenges. So that's it. That's what we were going to work on today. We made it 3 hours. Just about. I want to try index cards for my series tracking, but couldn't find any in town. 1 college, 1 huge university, 3 high schools, so I ordered some. They just came in and they're unlined. Ugh. I hate that for you, man. Why do they even make them unlined? I understand the concept of like flashcards, but like, come on. It's a note card, an index card. It's for indexing and making notes. I need that to have lines on it, you know? Like, I'm gonna need some help with that. I feel your pain. Feel your pain, Beth. Again, that's it for us for today, but I will, once I'm finished, I'll work on this over the next week or so. Once everything is finished, I will film a flip through of everything so you can see where everything ended up. I will attempt to go back in time once this is uploaded fully to put in timestamps if anybody wants to come back and watch any part. I don't know why you want to, but if you do, it'll be here. And we'll just gonna have a fun, fantastic rest of our weekend, right? Right. You're gonna do it because I said so. I'm trying to like take stock of what I've used and what I need to use more of. Should have put more stuff underneath of these, but I didn't. Now we're here. It's fine. I've got my whole life to figure it out. Okay. That is going to be it for me today. I hope you all had a fun time. Thanks for coming and hanging out, even though I started an hour late. Because I'm a hot mess. And I appreciate y'all for being here. And I'll see you, I don't know, probably going to do a live stream when I redo my shelves. When I'm doing the audit, taking everything off and counting and just doing sprints. So we'll have a work day that day together. Thanks for hanging out. I love you guys so much. I'm gonna hit the goodbye button. And where do I hit the button? It's been so long. I don't know where the goodbye button is. The world may never know. Bye, friends.